Alright, last Ren Fair cloak for the year, I promise. It's a Luna moth, so that could be cool. Making a pattern because the stupid paper trying to roll up in a cylinder didn't drive me crazy last time or anything. Also, back to the half circle. Screw the funnel shape. Half circle. So here's the paper that is not a half circle yet. It's a square and another square that are connected. And there's the flannel shirt I literally just had on. I'm going to cut the shape for the neck hole deeper into the back of the cloak, because I think that will help with the lump in the back, because by the time you get all the way back there, it's more circumference, right? Hopefully that made sense. Anyway, like previously it's been a very circle shape, and this time it's going to be a longer shape. Na-na! And like just cut the corner off. So I would unfold it, but I'm going to cut down this seam, which would be the back seam, except seriously, how do you deal with the wanting to roll up? Do you iron your paper? I did not iron it because of who I am as a person. I folded it a bunch of times as punishment, and that seems to be working. One of them gets cut into a top wing, and I make two. One of them gets cut into a bottom wing, and I make two. And then we figure out the hood. So like that, with the bottom wing not going all the way around your neck. And then like that, when it gets layered, I'm almost certainly going to cut these down more because we have to deal with the amount of fabric we have available, but that's the idea. And then the layers seem important in my head at the moment. This is a beautiful shawl I've had literally forever, and I never wear it because I wanted to be a shawl person, but I'm not. And one side is more golden than the other. I need to take that into account. But, I mean, look what a glorious texture that is. I've had it for, God, at least 20 years. And so I'm trying to tell myself not to feel bad about cutting it up. So it's folded in half. Top wing, bottom wing. Need to make things a little smaller. Hood. Need to make sure that hood's big enough. But I don't need to cut it down that far. I started with a pretty generous shape on purpose. So here's the neck. I cut more away there to expose more underwing, which I streamlined a bit. If you're screaming at me, I apologize. Hopefully the thumbnail looks good. Fingers crossed, yeah? That looks like more than enough for a hood, and we're going to have to do something about a body, but that can be really patchworked, right? Walking over here. Sheet, cotton, Goodwill bins, lining. Do I want to make a lining? I think I want to make a lining because this weighs exactly nothing and would be so floppy. But maybe that's the appeal. If I'm trying to force myself not to bead the crap out of this thing, it does mean I should skip the lining. Oh, rubber duck. So I beaded the crap out of the last one and I lined the last one. We're going to try and avoid that. We're going to try and avoid beading. We're going to try and avoid lining, and just, if you have beautiful, delicate fabric and you don't know what to do with it, maybe you'll like this idea. We'll see. Just thinking I should save the tassels. They might be good for the body or decorations. Definitely always save. The folds have been defeated, so I'm using boot things now. Goodness, I'm nervous about this. We have 2 top wings, 2 bottom wings, a good sized piece of scrap for hood, teeny tiny scraps that go in their own pile. First order of business, teeny tiny hemming the crap out of all this. That first. I am doing a slightly lumpy double fold hem with teeny tiny stitches. Now, if you were to do this and you decided to do the rolled hem with whip stitches, I would admire that very much, even if I'm not going to join in on that party, because this is going to take long enough as it is, and whip stitches are not my most favorite thing in the whole wide world. I went rummaging and decided this was the closest thread I have. Must have inherited this one. I have no idea how else I would have gotten that color. And there. Teeny tiny stitches. It is working fine. Looks less lumpy from the outside. This is going to be so pretty. Okay. Actually, could you back up over there, love? Sorry, tiny space. There's the back of it. There's the front of it. Show the back again. So with those wings, this is the vibe, which is very interesting. So the hood on the meadow cloak, after I added the friggin' patch to it, is comically big. I think we can figure something out. This being the patch I have available for hood. It is, what, 2 rectangles, 11 by, crap. Sorry. 11 by 17 is a comically massive hood. So, massive freaking rectangle. Hood. Gonna sew the triangle onto the front, and then we'll have something squarish. I'm planning on a massive hem in the front, because we've got the space, and because my theory is that a massive hem in the front keeps the hood from falling in your face. This is a cute little triangle. Moth body. Moth body should be triangle. Of course, I just sewed part of the hood on inside out and had to chop it back off, but you know what? I am glad I decided not to use that sheet for a lining. Do you know how hard it is to hand sew through a sheet? It's just so dense. So, carefully doing this. With the try-on, you saw how the cutaway on the outside wings, I didn't take into account the fact that the outside wing has to wrap around the front and the back of a human. So, fortunately, I like the shape we wound up with, but if you want more overlap, then the outside wing needs to be bigger than intuitively sized because of humans having a front and a back. But this is coming along very smoothly so far. And I love the fabric, so that's always nice. The part where 1, 2, 3, all 4 wings and the hood intersect is really a lovely, elegant shape, and of course I'm going to put a body over it so I can make it fuzzy. Well, fuzzy body. That'll be awesome. This was literally just the most body-like of the scraps that were left over, so now I need to carefully center it and sew it down. And then we'll get into the fuzzies. Crap. Indecision just struck. No, I don't want the body under all 4 wings. This looks good, but I want to drag the decorations up here onto the hood, I think. Oh, well, if you make one and do it differently, I totally want to see how yours looks. Because possibilities. I'm overwhelmed by possibility. I actually have this whole mess sitting on a piece of MDF in my lap so I can keep it flat. Now, if you're yelling at me from your side of your computer for my choices about the body positioning, I don't blame you. I'm kind of yelling at me too. We will take that bed sheet at some undisclosed point in the future, and we will, and we will make a whole new Luna Moth situation, and we'll take the body clear up on the hood, and we'll position the wings correctly, and that'll be cool. If we do the whole sheet, we won't have any fabric restrictions. Yeah? Yay, no fabric restrictions. These are the fringe, really ratty fringe from the edge of the shawl. There we go. And so I'm going to reach this point, turn it around, keep sewing. So just wiggle back and forth with both the pieces and try and finger comb the rattiness out of it. And it will give us texture. And I love texture anyway, and that'll be cool. My doubts about this were because the stupid fringes are so far apart, so here's 2 layers. I'm feeling more optimistic. And this is the density with 4 tiers. The downside is that's how much I have. Well, there's the density with 4 tiers. That's how much I have left of the one side. So 6 tiers is half, and it'll be less tiers with the other half of what I have available because everyone gets wider, right? So as soon as I start the next one, I'm going to start bumping up in the middle, making a kind of kitty cat face back here. And that might make running out of it look more deliberate. After looking at a picture of a real-life Luna moth, I decided to take a band of the copper silk from the previous project and sew it along both outside wings and then continuing up over the hood. Because nice detail, right? And apparently I habitually put decoration like that. So sewing down the front and then also down the back, and it'll be that wide. And also, give me a second. Oh, there it is. The tassels are in minor disarray. So there's Fuzzy Wuzzies. Yeah. And then I found these gigantic sequins. So I think I want to apply them along the top of this line somehow. That'll be fun. These are on a scarf I found at the bins, and cut these off in some little wooden beads to make the scarf easier to reuse. So this is where we are at the moment. I've started playing with adding fringe and, well, this is just like random bit of thread color. I think I like it. I'll show you how to do it in a minute. But for a moth like this, the eye spots are one of the more important components, right? Visually. So I have a couple saucers and a pickle jar and a mason jar and a silver Sharpie, and we're going to try and place those. Obviously cannot, in good conscience, recommend that you use Sharpie or winging it for this, but I think we're okay. I love that the eye spots definitely go under the outside wings. I found some gold trims recently, and apparently I put them somewhere safe, and I don't know where they are. And when I realized I didn't know where they were, I got annoyed and grabbed a yellowish embroidery floss that matches the yellow undertone in this scarf pretty well, and decided I was just going to add detail with that. A very long detail with that until it ran out, and then I'd look for the gold trim again. So sometimes your details come from getting annoyed and grabbing the first thing that comes to hand. And I still haven't found that gold trim. So we're still going with the coppery silk. I will find it. I'm sure of it. This is exactly as fussy as it looks, but effective. And a nice texture. So I'll get down to the end and then travel back, folding it the other way, and then we'll have a nice skinny line. I found a random scraggly ball of yarn that I would very much like gone, and it is a, I don't know, light blue green which moves us in a good color direction, and also reminds me that I've got a ball of pale green mohair around here, a very, very, very small ball of pale green mohair, somewhere around here. So that's on my need to find list. And then it'll be gone, and that'll be wonderful. Discovered that I still have some of this, which is on everything now, and this is not the one I was looking for, but I think I might like the silvery accent texture. What would you call that? I wonder when it's from. I need to chill. This does not make any sense except color-wise. The width of it, no. No, this last piece can wait for a different project. I found the things I was looking for. So I don't know how much of these I'm going to use, because part of the point of using that beautiful, delicate fabric was that I would chill the hell out and not completely cover it in stuff. So up in the air about that now. Let's see. Added ties in a pretty lazy, casual way. This pale yarn. Remember, I had to piece the hood because stupid. So I just followed the hood piecing and made that shape on the outer wings, both of them, which leaves this much. So I'm going to put something here on the body and then split the remainder into two and use that up on the eye spots. And then we'll get into the goldish stuff. Almost done, I think. It feels like it at the moment. This much yarn to go before I have to make any more decisions. The very light blue-green yarn is all used up, and I think one more, I don't know, feature, texture, something, and then I have to call it done. Sound good? Will you turn around, Angel? And what have we learned? We have learned that, shockingly, representational stuff is, hey sweetie, there's a rabbit. Representational stuff's really hard. Harder than non-representational stuff. But I think it's going to be really pretty. And hey, you're really close to a reveal. I might not be, but you are. Well, that's annoying. I decided this was the one I was going to use up, and I thought each little thread was mixed thread and sparkle, but it's two of the threads are sparkle and the rest of the threads are thread. So I'm not pulling that apart and stitching with it. So something about me as a person is I like to use things all the way up, unless, if it's a staple, then no. But if I went out and bought cream for a recipe, or if a recipe tells me to use 6 tablespoons of butter, I'm rolling my eyes and putting on all of it because I don't want it to still be there, right? I want it out of my fridge so it doesn't go to waste. So I seem to have adopted a similar attitude when it comes to sewing, and if I decide, I will use this thing for this project, I tend to keep using until it's gone. Or in the case of this particular article, I decided to use it, so now I need to find a way to use it, which is probably not ideal. Maybe I'll grow out of it. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to stitch it like this in vaguely wingish patterns, and instead of being the, subtle directional shimmer that I was hoping for, it shall be wingish outlines. And then we are calling this done, because Ren Fair is on Sunday, and there's other things I need to do, and I've been focusing on this to the detriment of other things. So it hasn't been terribly time consuming, but sometimes you get a little too focused. So it will be a nice shimmer, won't it? Look at me, I'm a bug. Alright, now I put it on you. Alright, now you saw it on me and on the larger person, and now I get to show it to you. There's the fluff. I think it's identifiable. Darling, would you move? Well, twirl. Oh, flapping works too. I like flapping. So,
I move. I move.
Yes. Yes, you did. Aren't you clever? So, twirl again. I'll be honest, I don't love it. However, if I found it in a chest in somebody's attic, I would be so freaking obsessed. So clearly this is a me problem. And honestly, it's lovely and magical and kind of creepy with the eye spots. Okay, onward to literally anything that's not a cloak. Thank you, darling.